All right, good morning, everybody. Looks like it's 9 o'clock on the dial. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm going to shoot it over to Matt, and then we will get things started.
Thanks, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. Just a few ground rules for this morning, as per normal. We are recording today's webinar, so it will be up on our YouTube channel within a few days. So you can refer back to it or share it with anybody you like. If you have any technical issues, please put those into the chat feature, and I will do my best to help you through those. Just be aware that most of the time the issues stem from your own Wi-Fi connection. If you have any questions for the presenters throughout the presentation, please put those into the chat feature as well, and I will prompt the presenters as needed. If everyone can remain muted throughout the presentations, that would be wonderful, just to cut back on any background noise there may be. There's one button I'd like everybody, aside from the presenters, to avoid hitting. It says present now or share screen. Please do not click that button, as that will interrupt the presentation on your screen. And finally, if anyone called in via telephone today, please send me an email at mfrey@pgahq.com, and we'll make sure you get your MSR credits for today. With that, I'll turn it back over to Mr. Surratt.
Thanks, Matt. So, folks, today's webinar was born out of the great mind of the chair of the Teaching and Coaching Committee, Mr. Andy Miller. Andy is going to be our moderator for this morning's panel. He is also our reigning Teacher of the Year, and he was voted best haircut in the PGA of America this year, which is fantastic. So I'll throw it over to Mr. Miller.
Steve's looking pretty good too.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, sort of like when we were brainstorming on ideas on what we could do to provide relevant content for our membership, I think, as we all know, being golf professionals, this category has become super popular, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So we kind of brainstormed on, who would be good to present. So we tried to get a good mix of people from different types of facilities, and they're all going to present their own unique perspective on what they do in terms of golf simulators and technology. So we've got 5 great panelists. Steve Wager is going to open us up from Penn State Golf Course. We'll spend 10 or 15 minutes per presenter, and then I'll introduce the next presenter, and the presentation will flow in that manner. So without any delay, Steve Wager is going to kick this thing off.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So just going to give you a little idea where, Penn State Golf Course is middle of nowhere. I came up here in 2004 from Lancaster County. As soon as I drove over the mountain, there was snow on the ground, and it seems like it snows in November and it never melts. So being from Lancaster originally, you would get days where you could still go outside and play some golf. Up here, it doesn't go away. In fact, we still have tons of it out there. So the nice thing with the simulators, with the boom of the simulators, it certainly has extended our season quite a bit. It allows more traffic into our place. This will be our third. Has been our third season of running the simulators. Penn State Golf Course isn't a big budget place, even though they have, the college spends lots of money. We are run on a pretty tight budget, so we have a 19th hole that's connected to our pro shop. Is kind of extended into like a big eating area as well. Obviously, in the wintertime, no one's coming here to eat, hot dogs and things at the turn. So we just use those areas. I just had Brian just measured it off. That room we had was about 36 by maybe 20 some. So we were able to put 2 simulators in there. I'll share my screen and show you what it looks like real quick. See if I can do this. And then, you guys able to see that? So real quick, can you guys, you can see the slideshow?
Not yet.
Bottom right corner.
Did they
How about that? Any different now?
No.
I'm getting it. There's little extra buttons we got to do.
There you go.
Now we're getting to, yeah, you guys got to tell us, these old people, these old guys, this stuff. All right. All right. So these are our two bays. One of the things we were fortunate enough that we did have another place, another facility in our area that I guess unfortunately the gentleman had passed away. I think he had 4 bays or 3 or 4 bays. So at the auction, they were able to sell the enclosures here. So we bought 2 of these enclosures. And then in this little box here, we have TrackMan. In the other box, we have this one right here. We have FlightScope. And both of those we run E6 software off of it, which I'll talk a little bit about the prices that we ran these through. But this is kind of what we've done this year. We've all have touch screens. We make sure that we give everyone like a stylus pen so that they can, they won't be touching the screen. And we had these 6 feet apart, had safety issues there. So this year, one of the things we do, instead of 4 people per bay, we only have 2, which is at that 50% occupancy. That's kind of kept our spacing down. Penn State's really tight on what they can do with that. But with large enough areas, we had with this space here to be able to put these in here. I'll talk a little bit again how much it cost us, but that's what it looks like to run where we are at. We kept them up this year all year because our golf course, our pro shop was closed the entire season. So many of you were able to let people in your facility. Unfortunately, Penn State never allowed us to do that. So we were closed we had everything go through an outside window. People checked in that way. But we'll take these down probably the end of March or middle of March here once we open the golf courses back up and get rolling from there back to our normal operations. So just took a little picture of what our screen sheet or what our tee sheet looks like. Weekends were 96% full. You can see we have a 7:30 to 8 open there on Saturday on bay number 1. Other than that, it's completely booked. And then what I did was I looked forward, looking forward to the middle of the week, we can see where we have some openings. I actually just went to today. So this would have been Monday, which is now, actually this is yesterday. And this is what the screen looked like as far as availability. And we ended up at, again, 96% filled. Today, we are, again, 100% filled. So a lot of our business is already, weekends fill up in advance, but a lot of the business these are blocks for people that have in our leagues that play golf every single week. They kind of make tee times in advance. But I'd say a lot of our business is still generally people call up the day of and we get them in as much as we can. So just kind of what it costs us to do our things. We did each bay cost $3,000. Those are the enclosures. So it was $6,000 for the enclosures and the screens. Again, they were used, but we got them at a pretty good price. I've been looking on the internet. You can buy just the screens and some things like that for around that same price now. Maybe not the full enclosure, which I don't know if you necessarily need. We bought our FlightScope and TrackMan from the GTRC. When they got new ones, we bought their old ones for $5,000 each. I did look again online, and I think you can get a FlightScope X2 for $3,500 to $4,000, something like that, on eBay or used or something like that. I think their new TrackMan 3 new is still $11,000 or $12,000, but that's coming directly from the factory. We paid $1,800 for our E6 software. That was a one-time payment. We got 2,600 or 27 golf courses. So all in all, for the 2 bays, we're at $20,000 cost for those 2 bays. Again, we already had the building, so we're not looking at extra costs there. A lot of our hours, as far as we would be open anyway, because we are attached to the pro shop, our golf shop would be open. Even in the wintertime, we're generally open from 8 to 5. We've extended it 8 to 8. So our hours of operations, cost to run the unit, we're really only running 3 additional, employee hours, and we only have 1 person working anyway. But we charge $10 a half hour, and through our time of running the simulators of 3 years, what we have found is 1 golfer to play 9 holes takes about a half an hour. So if somebody wants to go and play 9 holes, it's going to take them, we would reserve a half hour for them. If one person wants to play 18 holes, they say, I'd like to play 18 holes in the simulator, we'll book a full hour for them. Again, so it's just the same number of things. If you have 2 people playing, you're looking at an hour for 9 holes, 2 hours for 18 holes. So that's kind of an idea, just to get an idea of how much it would take, how long it would take to play, and how much you would need to pay for it. So currently, if we had, a foursome playing, and they wanted to play 18 holes, we previously would have booked one simulator for the 4 hours, and now because we're only 2 people per bay, we'll use both simulators. So 2 people will be on bay 1, 2 people will be on bay 2. They can run the same golf course and play at the same time. It just takes less time, so it ends up being the same utilization as having one bay occupied for 4 hours. It's just both of them have to work their way. So utilization right now, we're at 89 to 90% on average. So we're looking at $400 a day. What I did for our overall month, kind of just to get an idea of how much we can make on our monthly thing, I brought it down to 80% because that's about what we average through the year. Beginning of the season, when we're still open, the golf course is still open, people are still playing, the simulators aren't as busy. Right now it's probably peak because there's nothing else to do. We've been peak for a while. I think we've had snow on the ground for since December, so at that higher rate for a while. So we're looking at $43,000 about just in greens fees generated from those 2 simulators. With that, one of the things that we do is I run a juniors league and a men's league. So there's the number of golfers we have in our leagues. I have 26 golfers. They play 9 holes each week. They pay $10 to play 9 holes. Most of my juniors actually reserve a full hour. Just because some of the younger ones, they can't quite get finished, or they want some practice time in between or after. Some of them play with their parents, so they'll even reserve even longer. But you're looking at least, even just as a block, if we just did a couple leagues, you're looking at least $6,000, $7,000 of just greens fees based on those customers that are coming every single day. And then through the last 3 years of reports, we average an additional on top of what we did before, because we weren't open a lot. I mean, the golf shop was open, people came in, but we weren't really selling a whole lot. Average food and beverage is $6,000. Club sales are $10,000 to $15,000 in club fitting. And then lessons, because we really view a lot of people playing golf generally, I don't do a ton of lessons. I do them on Saturday mornings, and I'll do a couple throughout the week. It's easily $2,500 to $4,000, and that's really not trying. So, if you want to do an extensive lesson plan, you would occupy that bay for that time. So I generally don't teach a whole lot for that reason. Let's see if I can get out of here now. Am I no longer sharing? Is it back to me again?
Golden.
Yeah. All right. So that's kind of where we are as far as what we're able to do. Again, if you ever want those numbers of what it costs me, I can certainly send you that information. Just email me, wagerpga@gmail.com. If you have any questions on what, public golf courses, things like that, we can help you out anyway. So that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. That was great. I think just in the context of what we're talking about, pricing and things of that nature are really going to help people out when they're sort of contemplating maybe what overall costs and revenue would be. So that was awesome. Again, if anybody has any questions specifically for Steve, you can either type it in the chat box or towards the end of the presentation, we should have some time left. All right, keep things moving along here. Eric Handley, also from that neck of the woods, Golf Teaching and Research Center, Penn State University. He's our next presenter. So Eric, all yours.
Great, thank you very much. Go ahead and pull up the presentation here. Let's see. What do you guys see? Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yep.
All right, great. All right, so I'm going to focus these next 10 minutes a little bit on the questions that I commonly get from our alumni who are calling back, because a lot of them are now at facilities where they're looking to build a new structure, create a new space, implement some of these opportunities through the wintertime. And so I get about 2 calls per week with these types of questions. So I just pulled these conversations into a 10-minute presentation for you. So I'll give you a few examples along the way and kind of talk to you about my experiences. I'm really excited to hear from the other presenters too, though, because they're at different types of facilities and they may have different experiences based on their facilities. And that's, I think, really valuable to hear in this context. So the focus will be matching technologies and talking about some of the technologies that are available to customer needs. then also thinking about how you're going to staff that as well. So what I talk to our contacts about that reach out to us is thinking about 3 areas. One being customer needs or wants. What do your customers want? What are you trying to provide to them? And then matching that up with the technologies that are available and considering a lot of different options there. And then thinking about choosing those technologies based on what the staff has as far as expertise, or what the staff is interested in, and what the staff has time available for. So we'll get into each one of those real quick. When we think about customer needs, some of the questions that often come up are these. So what? And as far as what, I kind of break it down into 2 categories. Either there's the playing side, and I think one of the things you just heard from Steve is that the Penn State golf courses are heavy on playing, right? Those simulators are set up for play, hitting golf balls, playing on the golf course, those types of experiences. The leagues, the junior leagues, the adult leagues, it's almost all playing focused. Now there is some time set aside for instruction and fittings, but that's a smaller portion. So playing is more important. And that can then influence the type of technology you need. And we'll talk about that in a minute. If you're more focused on instruction and fittings, then you might want a particular technology or piece of software that lends itself more to instruction and fitting versus playing. The next question is where? Well, this is about simulators. So everybody's probably thinking, well, indoors, obviously. But one thing to consider is what type of technology you choose may fit also for what you want to do during the summertime or when you can get outdoors. Or maybe you already have that piece taken care of and you want to only consider what you're looking for in an indoor space. So are you doing just indoor, or are you doing indoors and outdoors? And that's an important question that you want to ask as well. Who are your customers? Are you a public course like Penn State? Are you a private facility that's expecting a certain level of service, a certain level of staffing? That's important to consider. Are you going to have junior golfers? Are you going to have adult golfers? If you're having juniors, are the parents going to be there with them? Are you providing the supervision? How does that all work out? And then finally, staffing. And staffing is one that we'll come back to as its own category. But how are you going to provide these opportunities and make them available to the people? Should you consider what I've put here, a one-button solution, which I'll talk about in one of our examples. So considering all of your customer needs is, I think, obvious to all of you. You do this anyway, but I think there's a couple categories here, whether it's playing focused or instruction focused or a combination of the two, whether it's indoor or outdoor or a combination of the two, whether you're public or private or a combination of the two, juniors or adults or a combination. And then staffing. Are you going to have staff there full time, or are you not going to have staff there full time, or will it be some combination thereof? Right? So when we consider the technologies, there's a couple questions that we always ask in our conversations with folks. First, do you want whatever technology you're choosing to be fixed in place? Do you have a dedicated space? Is it always going to be available? This space behind me is dedicated. It's always available. This is an indoor only facility, right? In this case, but we utilize this space through the winter months. I'm hoping in about 2 weeks here, the snow burns off and we're now outside for the rest of the time. The students are on campus, and then anything we do during the summer can either take place in here if we want to, or out at the golf courses. So for us, when we started looking at simulators, it was really important for us to have simulator options and select a simulator that was mobile, right? So we could use the technology in here to get accurate information, but we could also take it outside. So the mobile key was important for us. I say visuals versus data. The visuals, there are some systems that have excellent visuals. It looks like you're out on the golf course. You can get screens that wrap around you 180 degrees. And so the visuals can be spectacular. And those probably lend themselves best to a playing focused environment. They can also be great for instruction, don't get me wrong. But if you really want to provide a super high level of playing opportunity for your customers, make sure you focus on the visuals. On the flip side, sometimes those are going to be fixed. Oftentimes those units are fixed and they might be built in. Certain companies that provide really good visuals and spend time on the entertainment side of things, maybe spend a little less time on some of the data side of things. For us, being able to export data is really important for the research that we do. So we chose simulator companies to partner with and work with that we can export data from and feel like we're getting the industry's best, most reliable quality data. And so that's where the instruction, data, club fitting, research side comes in addition to the visuals. For us, visuals were down on the list a little bit relative to those other priorities. Space considerations is a huge one, particularly when you're picking ball flight monitors. There are some monitors that need more space. For instance, and this is our experience, when we utilize TrackMan, we've got the latest TrackMan indoors with the latest software. When we utilize it, there are some things it does excellent that we love, some features. But then there are others where a different unit like the Foresight Quad might be a little bit better. And our space considerations can play into that. For instance, the Foresight, the only amount of room you need is enough room to swing the club and hit the ball, right? So you can move that unit really close to the screen. So if you're limited in depth in your room, something like the Quad might be great. Whereas a TrackMan would like a little bit more ball flight to get even more accurate. It also needs to then sit 9 feet behind the golfer. So if you've got 9 feet behind the golfer and 12 to 15 feet in front of the golfer, you're taking up more space. So your space considerations kind of come into play there. Now, and then that also then has you thinking a little bit about how am I going to utilize my space? If I'm closer to the screen, does that then give me space behind it to do putting or something like that? So that's how you're going to utilize your space, and going back to what the customers need, what you want to deliver them to them is important. The course is available. This kind of goes with some of the entertainment or the playing. One of the things that came into play for us in particular was the focus of our priorities or our customers are primarily our golf management students. And one of the things that we focus on heavily with them is player development, getting them to be the best player they can be and passing the playing ability test along the way, right? So when we look at passing the playing ability test and we're in an indoor environment, one of the things we really wanted to do was partner with a simulator company that would put our golf course on the simulator. This is the 14th hole at the Penn State Blue course. If there's a student that has an issue with this hole, we can simulate it right now. We can simulate every single shot on the Penn State Blue course and the white course because Foresight built this for us, right? And so that could be a cool opportunity for you. If you're at a facility or place where you want to provide your golf course to your members during the off season, consider that as an option. And then there are other companies that have a boatload of courses with really great graphics. And so ask yourself those kind of questions. I won't spend too long on some of these other things, but motion analysis, are you going to combine these technologies with video? Consider that. TrackMan is great for combining with video. Are you going to use 3D? Some of them sync well with KVest or some other 3D options. Are you going to look at doing putting, right? If you're going to look at doing putting, some fixed units might be good in the indoor environment, but if you want to take it out to the golf course, you won't have an opportunity because it's fixed. So it comes back to that question. Club fitting, I kind of already mentioned, and then what's your budget, right? We'll talk a little bit about this with the examples I show, but Steve already mentioned it with the Penn State golf courses. They did it on a really trim budget, and they more than paid for everything they invested in 1 year, right? And so what's your budget and considering the technologies that you're choosing? And then finally, staffing. What's your staff's expertise right now? And then what are their interests? What can you help them grow into? What kind of education's available out there that you can help them become an expert in certain areas, whether that's club fitting to add to your bottom line, or that's teaching, or that's utilizing certain technologies in the best way so that you can offer everything you can to your customers. So think about the training opportunities that you want to provide to your staff and to yourself to really utilize these resources really well. And then time demands versus availability, right? What is your staff makeup? How do you want to staff your facility during the off season? What's typically your off season, right? Now this becomes in season as well. And so how are you going to staff that? What kind of availability do you want to provide to your customers? Kind of all wraps into one. So I'll finish up real quickly here with, you've already kind of seen an example of Penn State golf courses. This is the same hole that you see behind me, number 14, replicated pretty well. So you've heard about Penn State golf courses, a public facility, did it on a tight budget, but is making money and doing really well. Here's another example, an alum I talked to out on Long Island the other day. They are creating this building and looking at what they should be doing to provide for their members. They already have a TrackMan, so they're good and set there, and they're thinking about both of these bays being able to open up and hit out to the driving range. So they would hit out to the range during the summer in the good weather, but then in the winter, the bays would be, the doors would be closed and hit into a screen. And they're trying to consider how they would set things up. So my recommendation to them, after hearing all of their needs, desires, and opportunities, is maybe to have TrackMan in one bay and maybe look at Foresight or a more fitting focused solution, if you will, where they can get closer to the screen in the other bay. And the other thing they wanted was a one-button studio. So you can see this bay 2 on the right. We talked to them about moving that hitting mat closer to the screen and giving them space behind that so that they could now putt back here, and doing it in a way to where it's a one-button studio, because you can see here, this is going to be kind of entertainment focused. So members are going to come in here on their own. In a lot of cases, they want it to be able to press one button, TVs are on, screens down, ball flight monitors on, everything's ready to go, and they can play. And they wanted it to be available for right-handed or left-handed. So in that case, what they're looking at doing is installing a hawk, which would go overhead. It identifies the exact location of the golf ball, sets the target appropriately. It can be much closer to the screen, so they can hit all the shots, play all the courses, get good data, but then have space behind it for putting if they want to do any putting. And then the other bay, they would utilize TrackMan for simulator capabilities, have the hitting mat a little further back, but then also be able to utilize the space up closer to the bay and hit outdoors. And then finally, our Golf Teaching and Research Center. We've got 3 bays here. This is an indoor facility, but everything that we do indoors, we want to be able to do outdoors when the weather's good. So being mobile was extremely important to us. Quality of data is crucial for us in the research that we do to influence our instruction. And so what we've tried to do is get the best data we can get. And that will oftentimes mean TrackMan and Foresight are both running at the same time in the same bay. And we do that quite a bit, actually, when we've got them both running. So 3 different examples here, 3 different facilities, some things to consider and think about. I hope that's helpful. One other resource I'd recommend to all of you, if you haven't yet, if you're on Facebook at all, there's a really good golf simulator group moderated by a golf simulator junkie out of Baltimore. He's not a golf professional. In fact, he's a medical professional, but he's totally into this, really knows his stuff. And there's some really good resources on this group if any of you are looking for more details. Also happy to talk to any of you that might be interested in getting help with answering some of these questions for your facility.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. I'm actually a member of that Facebook group. It's pretty awesome. It's actually amazing how some people will post the space they have, what they're looking for, and these people are so into it that you'll get like 50 comments in about 30 minutes. People are more than willing to share. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Next up, Scramble House of Golf, Justin Reines. You get the floor, man.
Justin, you're on mute there. If you can put your mouse
There we
down
go.
the bottom of your screen.
You got nothing. Hello, everybody. Eric, good presentation, bro. I looked at a lot of, I researched my ass off. Oops, excuse me, I didn't mean to say that. In this idea, I get anywhere from 50 to about 100 messages a day all over the world. Let me turn off my music a little bit. The Facebook group that Eric mentioned and Andy mentioned, I am on it right now as we speak. So this is what I do basically every day. I answer too many questions. This morning was Taiwan, Australia, and London. Those people are on different time zones than us. And then about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, US starts to open up, and then the West Coast opens up, and then they message me. So everyone's kind of figuring out the sim world. I dove in pretty deep. Eric, you started it at Penn State, thought you did a great job. Golf Tech started it, and now I kind of put my spin on it. As you can see, I wear a hoodie, I backwards cap it. I don't really care what you wear, what logo you wear, what car you drive, what club you do. All I care about is you take care of my place. I built a house for golf, and we only have 110 members. We're on a waiting list right now. My summer membership, we're almost full at 150 members, and we use data every day. I'll show you a few things with the tech. As you can see on my Instagram or Facebook, I did a documentary on how I built this. Built it in 90 days in a pandemic. Our next one's going to be 3 times the size, and it's going to be closer to Mr. Dunnigan because all his kids want a place to practice. So then I got to build another one for your kids, and especially Nick Dunnigan. I think six of your players, Dunnigan, and they're all down in the main line. And what I found is I don't care who's your teacher, who's your coach. You gotta get reps and you gotta play a lot. And we have data. We look at all the numbers. They take it to John. I don't care. We work on some things. We compete every day. I had a 27-hole tournament this weekend. I have a match play tournament. I have 9 Division I, think, players in here, and we play every day. Every day. Today we started at 4:30 in the morning. And we go till about midnight, 1 o'clock, and I'm fully booked. I think when people look at utilization or whatever model and concept, I just went way off the rocker. And a lot of people said it wouldn't work or it didn't have a chance. And obviously we've kind of figured out with a little snow and a little how nut people's golf games are in Philly. And if you don't believe it, you can come check me out and you can see it all day, every day. Right now, I have 8 players in here, and that's about as much as we have in a normal hour and a half session. Then later, they bring guests, and they have fun and do all that stuff. So I will walk you quick through my place. We got some guys, you see, playing on Putt View. We'll do a little explanation on Putt View. I think that's kind of a game changer for practicing. I have asphalt underneath my green, so it never moves. I think – and Dunnigan will probably know this, and all you guys teach. No one can teach a stroke outside. I watch, you ruin the grass. My superintendent gets mad at me all the time because, I just ruin the grass because we need a lot of reps at one spot. So you'll see I got Foresight in here. We got Hawk 1, Hawk 2, Hawk 3, and 4. And then I got 2 quads on the bottom, whatever we're working on. So Doc is playing Pebble Beach. Matt's doing, he's playing look away because everyone likes look away. And you can see here. Oh, Matt, that's smoke, dude. Watch the shot. That might go in. Watch. Wow. Dude, good work. This guy sucked about a month ago. So now we have data, right? So now we have data we can show these people and they can practice. So he hit that 7 foot inches. And when we talk about practicing, and especially indoors in a constant variable, this guy right here, I can look at all his data so fast. Like it's here, I'll show you on the screen. So whatever we're working on, I can coach that guy in 5 seconds. And how much do I charge you for a lesson? Nothing. It's amazing how that works. So this guy can practice in here every day, all day, have the capabilities of a tour player indoors in a constant thing, 24/7. We got John, he's playing Brayburn Country Club. He had a tournament this weekend. He sucked on number 17, so he's working on 17 today. And we got Mr. Tom Lynch trying to hit draws, and he's curving the ball right. So this is just what we do. Yeah. So if you want to wear a collared shirt, you can be like John. If you want to wear jeans, you can be like Matt. It doesn't matter. So when I made up this concept, I said, okay, how am I going to shock the golf world? And I get the traditionalists all the time. It's going to happen where the dress code is going to be like just comfort, because that guy right there, he goes to college. He wants to practice in a comfortable environment. So why does he need to then change and go in golf clothes to come practice? I don't know. I think it's easy. I have about 16 private clubs in the Philly area that are members here on purpose. And all of them have simulators. But when you start to look at hours of operation and utilization, these people will show you that it's 4 a.m. to 1 a.m. It's not 9 to 5. It's not 7 to 4. It's not 7 to 8. Whatever. It's whenever you want to come, you can come. So I have an app that I use a lot of times in my calendar scheduling. Everyone has a schedule, and because of COVID, I call them COVID golfers. They started golf in COVID, so they didn't start golf because they wanted to start golf. There's nothing to do, so I gave them a place to obviously play and practice. So when you go to Applebrook, or you go to where Andy's at, or Bluebell, or Commonwealth, there's so many members trying to find time in that space of tee times. And when you have so many members, you get I can never find a tee time. So when I cap my membership, that's kind of what happens. So we'll go through just the quick show, and I got to show my team some of this stuff just because it's important. But this is what we do. This is a week. See if you can see it. That's just a week right there. So if we talk about utilization, I mean, this is nuts. And this is 19 hours. Today is 5 a.m. Let me just load it. 5 a.m. And they go in all the way into midnight because that's when my schedule, breaks. So from that standpoint, you basically have to now learn with COVID what it changed the game. I mean, it literally changed everything. Everyone had to redo the models. Everyone had to redo what they think is doing. And when you look at a golfer standpoint, they can't take winters off. They just can't. Because Dunnigan, your boys are going to get smoked when they come out in the springtime because the South guys are playing every day. They got to go to Florida to do that. I got kids that fly up here to work with it because we can here. And that's where I think a lot of times when I did my model, I'm here 19, 20 hours a day. And if you don't know, follow my Instagram and Facebook. I don't care. I don't have a life, and I'm cool with it. My plan is to build 10, 15, 20 of these. I have an indoor-outdoor model that I'm going to compete against a big company to show what golfers can actually do to people. And I was just talking to one of my members. This is the stuff that we actually can learn and teach the game and get people better. Because let me tell you what, my women here, they don't care if they miss putts in here. They just don't. They don't care if they shank it. They don't care if they hit it bad because they just do it again. And if you can come now put that in an environment, I have heat and air conditioning. That's what we do. So, I have a lot of questions every day, how much you charge, all this stuff. And it's like, okay, you got to figure out what your expenses are, and you got to charge more than that. That's how business works. I don't want to give everything I did because I worked my ass off to make sure this works. So when I have a lot of questions or people figure it out, yeah, it's a lot of money. You can count my money. My putting green's $200,000. My putting green. Okay, so when we do things, that's how important putting is to me. And Dunnigan, you know as well as I do, Sand Putt Lab, anything from a putting standpoint, you need reps. You need to learn speed. You need to learn break. You need to learn your stroke. And if you can do that to people, you win. All right, so let's go Putt View. Mr. Brenner, come on over here, buddy. So if no one, obviously people are starting to follow Putt View because of what I post or colleges or what Bryson DeChambeau does that week. But this system right here, let me see, you can see it. It's a projector-based system. It hangs overhead. I have my technology kind of organization right there. I'm not an organized kind of guy, so I just let it go. But you can see, Brett will do go to that line right there. Let me just show you here. Sorry, I don't have slides and everything. I'm just not a big slide guy. I just want to show you. So let's see. By the way, Andy, I'm going to work on my email signature later. All right, and I'm going to add Putt View certification.
Hey,
right.
I can help you with that.
Okay, I appreciate that. Let me just get my iPad. By the way, tech stuff. We were laughing. I have 3 laptops that I have to now run my business on, and I have 4 iPads. 4. And everything does certain things. So this is Putt View. And if you look at Putt View, this is my main screen right here. So I can control everything I do from one screen. I can have 6 players putt at once. Just my opinion, and I don't really care if you like it or not. This is the future of putting practice. I have asphalt underneath here. It's never going to move down again, and you can hit 1,000,000 putts and they roll pure. It's 12.5. All right, there, Brett. Let's roll a couple putts. Let's see if you can see here. Let me get rid of this thing. Hey, Andy, is there a way that I can see my screen just so oh, there you go. All right, so there you go. So there's Putt View. Hang on one second. So Putt View, let me see if I can roll my contours here. They map out my putting green. So you can see there, Mr. Aim Point Dunnigan. Everyone goes like this. It's so funny. They go like this. They go figure that out. And I go, guys, just hit it on the line. It's not that big of a deal. And then they go like this. And then they go, well, that feels like a little right foot dominant. I'm like, okay, whatever. So you can see the slopes, right? So now Brett is learning. This is it goes from 1% to 3.5%. So obviously you can see the break. I'll go straight down the line there. So now,
Hey, Justin,
yo,
could you please ask Brett to tuck his shirt in?
yeah, you know what? Hey, and hey, look at his hat though too. Look at his hat. The hat backwards.
Oh,
That's what you got to do. And the T-shirt. It's unbelievable, honestly.
I love it.
I get this. I get so many messages a day about my dress code and my traditional looking, obviously, wardrobe. And I can't believe people take time out of their day to let me know what they think about my dress code when they're not even a member here. Brett, you like my dress code here?
Well, I was going to say, I dress up to go to work every day. I'm off today. I rolled out of bed in this and came here to play some golf.
Yeah, and by the way, Dunnigan, he's the only guy that can beat me at ping pong. He's that good. Okay. But yeah, I mean, listen, everyone
I'm
works
coming
from
up
home.
soon.
Okay, I can't wait. I'm so I can't even sleep sometimes because you're coming up. When people go from home, right? Now they're comfortable. They wear sweatpants to work now. Zoom calls, meetings, everything has changed because of COVID. So why would they actually have to dress up to go somewhere? That's just my deal. All right, so now Brett is now on a putting green. So let's just go like this. I'm going to show you this real quick. There's a dot. Let me see if you can see the dot. There's the dot. You see that dot right there, Dunnigan? So I can move this putt. We'll go up the slope a little bit. Wow, look at that, 2021, folks. Isn't that crazy? So now we can work on 6-footers. It tells me what it is. Hit that putt for me, Brett. Now we have a high line and low line. That's a corridor. I can turn that off if I want. You can see right here. Now he's just got ideal. Oh, and he makes it Dunnigan on camera. That's how we do it right there. And what people say, they go, well, yeah, because I have a line there. Well, no kidding, knucklehead. Now do it without a line, right? So what this is doing is that now it's giving you visual feedback to now do that. Every good player sees what that line is. And when tour players say they have to take away the green reading book is because those guys do this every day. Bryson putts on 1.5, 2.5, 3.5%, and they know exactly what's going to happen before it happens. And when you do that, now all of a sudden you basically are counting cards in casinos. You will already win. We already know what's going to happen to our golf ball because we launch it like this. We know the descent. We know the spin. And we hit thousands of balls every day on it. Okay, now we're back to Putt View.
I was going to say what it does for me.
Oh, what does it do for you, Brett? Let's do a little interview here. We got an interview here.
I find it important because I don't use the line on my ball when I'm putting, when I'm actually playing on a course. In here, I'll use it when I have high line, low line, because I'll start it on the low line or I'll start it on the high line, get used to the speed differences. When I go out on the course, I don't like using the line because I lose feel. That's just me. But I now have an idea of the high line, low line.
So if you look at, and what we're talking about is, by the way, everyone's going to hit that. You can see there, Dunnigan, the ideal line for that speed is the high line. And this is a nasty, nasty putt that most everyone can't make because they don't play high enough. So Brett will putt on this, and we'll learn all this stuff on this putt. And we got another college kid over there working on 2 or 3 different putts. Now, Dunnigan, you can see that how straight that putt is right there. So when I built this green, I went you can stop me, by the way, Andy, if I go over time because
you got about 1 minute warning.
That's fine. Ooh, I like 1 minute warnings. So when I built this green, I went against everything in Putt View because Putt View likes 1% and 2%. Let me tell you what, you go to Bluebell or you go anywhere, you are playing on 5, 6, 7%. And if you don't practice on that, you don't got a prayer when you learn speeds and start lines and apexes. So they were like, no, Justin, you can't do that. And I'm like, whatever. I've heard that before. So then we just built it. So you can see my chipping green in the background. I have nasty slopes on there, down slope going right by that bunker, and it's a hard shot to get to. Dunnigan, I want to see your pitching technique to that shot. So realistically now, the one thing too, and I had to harp on this because everyone thinks you can only be a good player being here. And now we can play games. So we can play here, Brett, come on over here. So now look at this now. This is called putt pong. This is what parties and events and everyone will do. So now it actually teaches you now line and speed in an entertainment. I basically brought entertainment to development, and I am not Top Golf, and please, I am not like anything else. I am about golfers, and that's it. I want them to get better, have fun, and always practice. That's my goal. Come on over here.
Good stuff, man.
So
Thanks.
anyways, yeah. So obviously, any questions, feel free. I get them every day. A lot of things that our next one will build right after COVID in 2022. Dunnigan's going to be closer so then he can come and not worry about the drive. Dunnigan, just send me your gas bill and I'll pay for it so you can come up here. But anyways, I love doing this stuff. Obviously, we do this every day, all day. And thanks for having me, Andy. I appreciate it, bro.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, man.
As everybody can see, you're super passionate and enthusiastic about what you're doing. Maybe went in a little bit more head first than some other people will be willing to do, but I certainly admire what you're doing down there, and it's different, which is I think what makes it cool.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man.
All right, Mr. John Dunnigan, I feel like all the interaction that you've had so far that you've actually presented, but it's not even been your turn yet. So Applebrook.
By the way, the only reason I go after Dunnigan, Andy, is because all his players are in here, and I just want him to come up here so I can whoop him in ping pong. So because then everyone's just talking like he's got game. And yo, dude, look at this ping pong table. That pong table, and I got space. So if you're an offense, defense player, let's go.
Oh, baby.
Let's do it.
I'm coming to get you.
Applebrook Golf Club / I don't know, I guess Dunnigan Home Golf Theater. All yours, my friend.
Hi, everybody. Nice job. I tell you what Justin did took an awful lot of guts to go in there and just have an idea and run with it is pretty darn cool, if you ask me. So, by the way, Eric, I hate you. That place is sick, what you have. That is so cool. All right. Now, you can't see that yet, right? I'm trying to figure out if anybody gives me an idea of how to actually put this slideshow up.
So John,
Yeah.
Your daughter can do it.
Did you hit that present now button yet? Down at the bottom of your screen? Okay, so then a window should pop up asking how you want to present or what you want to present.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay, there's my entire screen. Okay, good. Okay, so what I did here, there's the garage. These folks made it look, I'll get it like that, just like the rest of the house, which is really cool. I built it for a couple of reasons. And everybody seeing this now?
Yes.
Okay, great. I built it, one, for me to produce content for JD Golf TV, which is about to go live shortly. One piece of advice that I would give you is make it bigger than you think. I went 25 wide. That's from front to back, where in the hitting direction, and 20 deep, so that the camera angles have enough room. And the TrackMan, I use TrackMan. I do use the quad at work with the TrackMan at the same time, not unlike what Eric does. And what I like to do is go through and tell you or show you, basically I gave you pictures and tell you what I messed up totally. So far, so good, okay? It turned out pretty good. And here, next slide, yeah. So the cool news is that was done just when COVID went. Now, by the way, I also have a daughter who's just turned 16 2 days ago. I can't stand it. And I also built it for her to practice at. And, you know, if she does really pursue this golf thing, she might take this TrackMan that we put in here to college with her. So they built this sucker, COVID hit, and they left it for literally 6, 7, 8 months. It was great. I went from this to a pool in the backyard, except you couldn't swim in it. These cement guys, and I can give you their name, did a super job. Now you can see this thing around it called a knee wall. The reason I put 2 feet up that knee wall, yes, it cost more money, was to make sure I had enough ceiling height so that we never ever felt like we were hitting indoors. That's also why it's so big. And that went around to the next piece this is Sheds Unlimited. So the concrete cost me about $15,000 because of this slope in the yard. Yes, they killed my lawn, which I've spent 16 years on. But they basically pre-manufactured and drop it in just like that, which is really, really cool. I wish I could have been home for all of this stuff, but I wasn't. So they built the actual structure in 1 whole day. Animals, really cool. And that's those guys walking around. The ceiling, I don't know what these are called, but I think they call them rafters, right? I think, but I'm not really sure, to be quite honest. The ceiling, I had them pitch the rafters parallel to the roof line for more height. Now, reason for that, once again, I want, you know, everybody indoors, if there's not enough room, they feel constrained. And it doesn't feel like golf. So I was trying like heck to avoid that completely. Another reason I did it that way, see the garage door? Now my wife, she's gonna kick my butt. The idea was if we sell the house, you know, when we retire, all that good stuff, we want to be able to sell this as a garage. So what I did was I took off all the struts and made it so that you can't lift the garage door up. She didn't like that at all. And I said, but you're not in here. Now that purple drywall is very expensive. It's the high impact drywall. Don't do it. You don't need it. I paid honest to goodness, I think it was almost close to double the price for that. You don't need it. It is very echoey in here, even after putting the green stuff down. This is getting ready for action. We've put in a Mitsubishi. That thing is sick and wrong. I'm sitting out here and it's a Mitsubishi ductless unit for heating and air, and it works spectacularly and is quiet. And this is the outline of the hitting screen. And there's our boy, Big Stevie. If you're in the simulator business, Big Steve Knapp, Knapp, he's the one that built this for me. He's a very good guy. We've been friends for a very, very long time. And I did use TrackMan because I'm a TrackMan user for 12 or 13 years now. And again, I have a lot of experience with both, but I went with TrackMan. I messed this up. I messed up. Do you see the receptacles for the power? I didn't get the lights right. That sucked. If I had any brains, I would have consulted the electrician before he got in there, right? And he did wire it through here, okay? The wiring is all going down through there. Another big mistake. How on earth am I gonna fix a broken cable? I'm dead meat. I'm gonna have to cut the damn drywall. And well, that's just cool. But anyway, the screen is 16 by 9. I went big. I want to be just like you'd see on the simulator screen. So it matched that right there. These lights, if you're gonna do video, those are not the finished product lights. I found out the hard way because I'm an idiot that those lights have to be turned on the back of the light. Although they said Wi-Fi remote, they never made it work with those lights. So I sent those babies back in. I don't think I have a picture of the new ones in here. There's the delicious one, Kid Delicious, testing out the first day in the simulator. And she's out here just about every day. And I'm out here every single day. I'm back over 100 miles an hour with my driver. Yes, I know some of you are doing your 700 miles an hour. Leave me alone. And this is what it kind of looks like from this view. There's a desk in there now, but I have the simulator screen. I have Swing Catalyst, and I have the TrackMan. And with the TrackMan, obviously I can put the downrange view or the golf course up on the TrackMan, or I can just watch TV. I'm watching the Australian Outbacks on Prime. It's awesome. If you haven't seen that, awesome show. Bending machine, fine. Cameras, I'll give you the whole rundown of what this whole thing costs in a bit. This is coming shortly, not dissimilar from Justin. This is a RoboGreen. This is made by Strakaline. The pros all use these green reading books by Strakaline. So what he has done is made a green, and the green that's coming in here is going to be 22 feet long, 7.5 feet wide, and will pretty much do exactly what Putt View does. Plus, they're going to let me design some of the software, which is kind of cool. But like Justin said, and Lil Dunnigan says, Dad, when is it ever a 2% slope the entire way to the hole? Well, I said, smarty pants. So it's true. So we're putting that in, and what we're doing, this is, and again, my wife is a little angry at this. This is going in the middle of the room, right down the center, from the back wall into the screen. The reason for that is I want to be able to put the hitting mat on top of it so that we can do uneven lies while we are simulating coming much closer to what we call a representative environment. It's going to look an awful lot more like golf indoors. And by the way, Justin, man, you got the idea. With a beginning population, they should learn in a simulator where there's very minimal embarrassment, still some, but very little when they hit the sidewalls, and they don't lose golf balls. And that's what it looks like at night. So we love it. Mary Grace and I love it. We use it a lot. I'll have a pro over here in just a little bit at 10 o'clock. You know, the ideas of making it big enough are really huge. Please make it big enough. So I got 15,000 in concrete, 23,000 in the building. I got 7,000 electric, 7,000 for the heater. It came to, by the time the Strakaline, the RoboGreen gets here, it'll be $114,000 that I've spent on it. And I get it. That's a huge investment. You know, but like for us, it is write-offable, right? That's a home office right there, folks. So the expenses are coming off of the taxes, which is kind of handy and dandy. So that's all I have to say about that. Yep, that's it.
Awesome, JD. That's great. I think probably another thing that you'll find, obviously, is that you get to spend some quality time with your daughter out there as well, which is priceless.
How do you beat quality time with the kid?
Good stuff, man. Appreciate it. All right, next up, Frank Hessen, PGA Director in Club Golf at Newtown Athletic Club. Frank, you got it, man. All yours.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. What kind of get into a quote Warren Backe said when I went into my golf professionals training program about 17 years ago. He said, all right, now we did all the lessons and stuff. Who's ready to make some money? And it always kind of stuck with me about how am I going to create a living teaching golf and you know, doing something that I love. In Club Golf is a 1,500 square foot program in the Newtown Athletic Club, and trying to get here to there is my present screen. Present now. Present your entire screen. Share.
You're good.
Perfect.
All right. So everybody see, right? Everybody see the studio there? There's the 1,500 square foot studio inside the Newtown Athletic Club. And we're off and running. So we are designed to be in club, inside the studio, inside the Newtown Athletic Club. Our owner basically wanted to create one of these in-club golfs in 300 health clubs across the country. He is a health club architect, and through his building of the Newtown Athletic Club, we found this place, this space inside the NAC, and he designed it and came up. Now, the reason why he designed this program is he seemed to get a lot more out of a 15, 20-minute shorter lesson throughout the course of the weeks through his golf professional, rather than the traditional hour-long, half-hour-long, hour-long lessons once a week. So that's the basis of our program. We really want to create an environment for the customers to have a place, a dedicated area to hit golf balls, to take more golf lessons, and I can facilitate the learning curve if I see you 3, 4, 5 times a week on a 20-minute lesson schedule, and then like a supervised 20-minute practice schedule. One thing a little bit about our studio is these are returnable hitting bays. So you hit the golf ball into the net, it drops down to the floor and then goes under the hitting mat, and the ball pops up out of the hitting mat. So the kids, adults get a lot of reps. To echo what Justin said, is that they come in. That's one of the reasons why we don't put impact screens up. We get about that little machine counts the balls. We get about 2,000, 3,000 hits a day, which would wear out our impact screens. So, but the program that we offer is a membership program. I was walking in the PGA merchandise show several years ago, and I turned a corner, and one guy said to me, "How'd you like to make $20,000 a month?" And I said, "Well, okay, so let's stop me from eating my hot dog. Let me see what you got." And he kind of put out a program. If I had to teach 1-hour golf lessons at my $100 or $65 half hour or $100 an hour price, I would basically have no life to try to make $20,000. So we came up with this monthly program. So the members pay a monthly fee, and they get access to our studio, not 24/7, but they get it from access to the studio from 5 in the morning till 11 at night. As long as the NAC is open, in-club golf is open. I am scheduled for golf lessons and the resident golf pro in the studio about 40 hours a week, and I get to have my 2 days off and my life and my hobbies outside of golf. So,
Frank, can you make that bigger? It's kind of hard to see on the screen at the moment. Maybe just change view. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it could be.
You
But
can click that present button. That might help up in the top right.
is that better?
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. So a price range for the NAC members who are actual NAC members of the health club. And then we also have a higher price for non-NAC members. So we give you a key fob to get through the front door of the NAC, and they're just golf members, and they are to just walk down into our studio and use the golf only. The NAC is pretty forward. They have facial recognition. So if any of the non-NAC members sneak out and jump onto a Stairmaster or use the equipment, they find out that through facial recognition on the machines that you're not a member, or your membership has expired, or stuff like that. So, but our non-NAC members are usually few and far between. We have very, very small amount of non-NAC members. This is, I would say, about 80% of our membership is from the NAC membership. So that's a little bit about the pricing. Here's a little screenshot of kind of the other day. Our scheduler is an open scheduler. Our owner wanted to see create a community of they say who's in there practicing. We have 2 bays, the Birdie Bay and an Eagle Bay. So you can log on to the membership scheduler. You can see as they practice, and most people usually take 2 20-minute lessons, so it's a 40-minute lesson. And then we usually send them off to like a supervised practice, or they come in to practice first and then take their lesson, after practice. So that's something. The blocks there are just for me to take a break. So they can schedule practice time at 7:20 in the morning, but they can't schedule lessons at the 7:40 in the morning because Golf Pro is in the studio from 8:40 to my 40-hour work week. So it's just a little screenshot of how they schedule it. We use all the available technology. We have the TrackMan 4s. We just upgraded the TrackMan 4s. We have the K-Vest. We have the Body Track pressure mat. The K-Vest has really helped us with technology. So I can, I've given a golf lesson to a member. I've given him 40 lessons over the last 2 years, and I've only seen him physically twice. He comes in at 9 o'clock on Friday night, and I'm not there at 9 o'clock on Friday night. So I usually program the K-Vest for his golf lesson, and he comes in for his golf lesson or his supervised practices for the motions that we're trying to do. And then we kind of talk to him about once a month. So usually after their golf lessons, we put them into their practice times, and they can come in, open up the K-Vests, and do their own practices as they see fit. So that's just a little bit about us. So the numbers that we wanted to, I wanted to kind of to point on is so currently we have around about 100 members that are active in our membership. So roughly at around $139 is kind of what the average prices that you see. We're billing per month $13,900 in gross. If you wanted to switch that to 150 members, you're looking at $20,800 a month in gross revenue. If you sell 200 memberships, you're looking at $27,800, right? So to make $27,000 or gross $27,000 or $20,000 a month at half-hour golf lessons, it's kind of tough. So that's our kind of our model, how we see everything going along. And let me go here to exit. And oops. Look like I'm having technical difficulty here, but that's basically it. If you look at how we wanted to, have a life and continue to teach and grow your business, I think the membership model is a really good deal. At the very least, I still teach half-hour golf lessons. I teach hour golf lessons to customers, outside the studio, and it is a still part of my life. But at the very least, I would suggest members creating a group membership. So if you wanted to teach, let's say you wanted to put 2 1-hour group sessions per day in your calendar, and you wanted to work 60 hours a month total, you can put those in the morning, put those in the afternoon, and then, or let's just say 1 hour a day for the 30 days. Let's just call it real basic. So you wanted to work 30 hours a week teaching golf. You could sell a membership to that schedule, and teach group lessons in those schedules, whether you're doing it outside, inside, so forth. So thinking about, growing your business, I don't think that I'll ever go above $100 an hour or 65 for a half hour. I think that's a pretty decent price and something that everybody can afford. But to expand your business at those prices, I think definitely looking at a membership-based program for whatever that may be, or whatever you may charge, or whatever price for technology that you may want to sell should be warranted for your program. And that's all I got, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Frank. I certainly appreciate you sharing the information with us. And I think, for all of us in terms of what our own unique compensation packages include, I know myself having lots and lots of kids, certainly for me, time is valuable. So I think anything we can do to make enough money to live comfortably and actually have a life on the side would be certainly something that all of us, I would think, would have interest in, except Justin, who's working every hour of every day. That's it, Matt. I don't know if you want to say a little something at the end here, or if you want to ask if people have questions. I certainly, I think as a PGA member myself, watching this to take in information and learn on my own, I found it extremely beneficial. I thought it was a really good mix of different people and different facilities talking about different parts of golf simulator technology and utilization. So
yeah, thanks. If before anyone logs off, we did have one question come in. Mr. Robert Kleckner raised his hands. If you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, Robert, you can.
What's happening, boys? Just checking in. Great seminar. I've been in this world for almost 9 years now, with Steve Knapp, and he was way ahead of the curve, getting this technology moving forward. I thought he was nuts when he first came to me with this product, and it's come such a long way. I remember going to the PGA show and there'd be like 32 cigar vendors. Now there's 5. Now there's 32 simulator vendors, which is awesome. So, and I hopped on late. There's a lot of other components to this equation for clubs, not standalone simulator companies like Dunnigan and a couple of the other guys like the NAC, but the NAC may have food. But there's a food side to this at the country club level that is sky's the limit. So there's some really good components, not only for if you're talking to your general managers or your owners. There's another component to this that we haven't even touched on, and maybe somebody already did. I know we're talking about lessons, we're talking about the game of golf, but as golf professionals that own their shops or have a part interest in the revenue, there's a ton of revenue opportunities for club fitting, club sales, ball fitting, ball sales. So you're just scratching the surface of what the simulator and this product is doing to the entire golf industry. And it's phenomenal. All the Europeans are coming from overseas. They're all starting out work because they don't have the real estate for the golf courses. So they're starting out with simulator golf. So take advantage of I have high schools that practice here. I have, there's so many different things besides memberships. So there's other opportunities if you're going more. And if you're going to go more, you got to go more than 2. 2.5 is the number for the food and beverage number to really make some revenue if you have the space. And then a lot of guys are, that are doing it more or less for instruction and teaching and things like that at your facility. You may not have the real estate to go that way, but I just wanted to throw that in there. Technology is always changing. It's phenomenal. And there's other opportunities of other sports that are already integrated and coming down the pipeline. And we know youth sports is an endless cash flow. I know I spend a lot on both my kids. So don't get short-sighted with just golf. If there's some dead time, you may want to think about other things. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert. That was great. We did have a couple more questions come in. This one is for Eric from Dustin Wallace. He asked, where do you get your impact screens and how long do they last you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we did ours custom build through Foresight. So when we purchased some new units from them, they also have a part of their business that is custom building. So they came in, retrofitted everything, and gave us the screens. They have been great. They're actually 2 layers to them. So there's a back layer. It's all bungee corded, and then the impact screen itself. And the other nice thing about this impact screen, it supports high def, but then it also just Velcros right off. So when I need to replace it, I peel it off. I have another one ordered from them, and I just simply Velcro it right on top. So it's great. I'm not sure exactly where they source it from, but I went straight through Foresight, and I'm sure you could as well. But they've been great. They've lasted me. At this point, we've got some wear and tear forming at the top of each one, particularly if it's a bay where righties and lefties are hitting it in the same spot. But I've gone through 2 seasons so far with these. I'm going to probably stretch it for a third before I replace them.
Great. Thanks, Eric. Joe from Westchester asked, I guess this is for the whole group, do your students prefer indoor or outdoor lessons with the technology? Anyone who wants to hop in, more than welcome.
Why don't we ask one? This is Bryn Walker. She turned pro. Is also one of the best kids on the planet Earth, just so you know.
I don't know. Always prefer outdoor. Yeah, on the golf course.
Always outdoor.
I'm gonna say indoor. I'm gonna go indoor, Donegan.
Yeah. Now, how do you like working out indoors and practicing up your game indoors and getting some data?
That I like a lot. I think if you mix it up, it's pretty good. But for playing outdoor, that's the game. But I do like to learn. I think indoor is nice. This is a pretty good setup. Donegan's got going on here.
All right, listen, I'm going to say indoor. And what was your name?
My name is Bryn.
Bryn, your girl Riley's in here every day. And if you know Riley Corbin, she tries to beat my boys, and she's actually pretty decent. Donegan, she's the only, well, other than Jackie Rockowitz, she can carry a golf ball 265. And let me tell you what, girl, we practice every shot you need to hit in tournaments in here every day. And if you don't, then I get penalized, and then you start to get better. Donegan, you got to get her to learn, not Bryn, but Riley, how to kill people, because she's so nice that when she competes with people, she lets them win. And I'm like, no, Riley, you got to beat them, and you got to beat them more. And when we go indoors and practice, and I talk about this all the time, when we change the game indoors, you can putt here, Bryn, every day on Putt View. So look at that. You can't practice this on a putting green ever. And you can wear a T-shirt and don't get in trouble. That's the best part. My man Jerry here is from Doylestown. We got Chris. He's from North Hills. Hey, Chris, you like my dress code here? Love it. He loves it. Look at that. So we practice indoors. We have data every day. And then you go play golf. So my golfers will come here practice, have to get better before they go out and play. So changing the game is very simple. They will practice in here, then they'll go on the golf course. They go Commonwealth, Old York, Tallamore, Squires, Huntington Valley, Doylestown. They're all members here because they practice, they get data, they can practice their stroke every day, 24/7, and then they go play golf. That's fine. But just realize when you have a place like this and you have a place that you can have numbers every day, all day, and you can have a monitor instead of spending 50 grand in your house, you change the game.
No,
all right, Donna, get on.
It's a good mixture if you can do both. Personally, it depends like how brain works too.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you can't practice on lies and everything, but you have to learn real quick how to move the ball, how to hit different shots, back right pin, left pin, into the wind. You can't do that always on the golf course, so you have to simulate it. So why pilots simulate flying an airplane first? Because they need to learn it, right? And then they go out and test it. So the golf course is a test. This is a practice. Very simple.
Yeah.
I got to go play more.
Matt, do you want to go over the last one by Ed?
Yeah. We'll do Ed's and then we can wrap it up because I know we're going a little long here. Ed from Makefield Highlands just added, Makefield is a municipal golf course and is converting their driving range to a top tracer range and adding the mobile as well as the standalone component with a membership concept for a few stalls. He's excited to allow his PGA professionals to have better tools to teach and fit and also give the customers a better experience. Embrace technology or the customer will go somewhere else to find it. You know, I think there is a little bit of truth to that. Before I was with the section, I worked for the Golf Range Association of America, which is part of PGA Magazine and Great Golf Resorts of the World. And they, I did a lot of the articles and content for that publication, and it was really eye-opening how many ranges across the country, not just standalone, but we're implementing this top tracer technology, and the consumers seem to love it. So that's something to kind of be aware of as well. Bill, did you have one last question? We'll go with you and then we can wrap it up.
I just wanted to jump in there and talk about Ted Sheftick. I've been to his farm and I've also been to his golf course out there in Abbottstown. And he has the video presentation, but he hits out of a garage door. He has his students both at the farm and also at the golf course. They have all the technology, but they also get to see the ball flight. And I thought that was really the best setup that I've seen so far. Of course, I haven't seen all of your setups, but I just wanted to throw that in.
Thank you very much. All right. If anyone has any additional questions after we sign off, I can share the presenters' email addresses, and they can answer it that way. But I really do appreciate all the presenters for spending time with us this morning. I thought this has been great. We had a very high attendance number, which shows that simulators are of great interest, and I appreciate everyone joining the webinar as well and participating. Thank you very much.
Andy, thanks for putting this together, buddy. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
See you all.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank
Come in
you.
the house anytime.
Thank you.